All right, so I can't find a lot of very good videos that like piss me off. It's too loud in my ear. All right, this first one is just, I think, kind of points out a sort of gripe that I have with I guess chefs. I guess mostly celebrity chefs specifically, but chefs in general. I find that a lot of the industry professionally after like a certain level, like you know, a certain tier of chefdom or professionalism or success or what have you, I think it's prone to a lot of posturing and bragging and almost like a dictatorial attitude towards people that you see as inferior or your subordinates. So like, just to point out the personality type of the people in this video. You told me you wanted to cook this medium. All right, that was very loud. I would have clicked dislike if I engaged in that way with content. I don't ever really click like or dislike, and maybe that kind of, I think that kind of ruins my experience on here as a viewer. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? We all behave in strange and different ways. Yeah. So it seems like this is a show, I think it's like MasterChef or something, where amateur level, give or take, chefs present food to judges that are presumably, only due to their resumes, not necessarily demonstrated skills, celebrity chefs. So in this particular judgment phase, he's presenting a steak, and I think, as you see through the clip, an argument could be made that there's no reason for them to be judging it so harshly, and 127 seems like a really fair eyeball if I was to say what temperature that steak was done. I'm guessing he made it sous vide, reverse sear, some other trendy bullshit that people are using these days. But I think it's okay, and I don't think that they're taking it as it's okay. So yeah.
This is raw. It is blue raw.
It registered 127 in 3 different places.
I don't care what it registered.
Okay, so a couple of things happened there. This guy, I think a really good sort of scale to think about it is, do you know who this guy is? I don't. And I was a professional chef for almost 20 years. So the chances are that if I don't know who he is, and I have like a whole catalog of books, James Beard and bullshit, like whatever, I can throw a ton of names out there and I still would not be able to recognize this guy. I'm guessing he's a restaurateur because or like a fucking like sommelier or some bullshit, because he's amongst chefs. That guy with the purple hair is a chef, and they tend to break it up like, oh, there's a chef judge, there's a business guy judge, and then there's a wild card. So I'm guessing that the accuracy was not in the temperature that the steak was cooked. I'm guessing that the guy's concern was like, oh, I'm saying I don't care what it was cooked to, it's raw. Not according to like USDA standards, not according to all the best chefs in the world. About 125 is when you'd want to cook a steak to, and if it's sous vide or if it's reverse sear, it's gonna look like that. It's gonna look a little bit more raw than it would have if you had cooked it, let's say, like, on a grill or in a pan. Just how it works. It does look raw. I will be the first to admit that, but I'm saying that the amateur chef is correct in everything he said so far, and all that the other guy has said has been words. And that, I think, is sort of his tell. That's a good way to tell that he's just kind of slinging bullshit. There's no sauce to dip it into. A good steak shouldn't need any sauce. I mean, it's great, if you have some variety, if you have a little thing to like spice it up a bit, that's fine. Absolutely, totally great. But you don't need anything. And there's no jus. Fuck off. And so that the guy with the multicolored hair has already lost credibility in my eyes because he says don't argue. That's not how managers talk to subordinates in the first place. I don't care what program or what dynamic they have in this program. That's just not how you talk to people. Like, you don't argue. No. How do they expect anyone to learn anything if they're not gonna like welcome open discussion? And it's not like you can say anything you want. Like, you're not gonna just like allow people to cuss you out. But if the guy's just trying to defend himself, you just let him. If you are, as a manager, trying to allow somebody to, or trying to get somebody to admit to either a mistake or something they're guilty of, or if you're just trying to get them to dig their own grave, you let them. You just shush and you let them talk themselves into a circle, or whatever they say might convince you. Whatever they say might be sensical and reasonable enough that it's all good, and then you just continue on with your day. But you don't just say, shush, no, shut up. And that also is just a weird point. Nobody eats ribeye this thick, that rare. What? I mean, you can see it's only like maybe an inch and a half. It's like one rib, which is, I think, a lot of people. I have eaten several times. I've had the luck and the pleasure to eat several times. It was almost an annual tradition at the House of Prime Rib in San Francisco, in the city. And oh my God, the regular cut, I think the most average like sold cut was something like bam, like that. Like it was like a, and they would wheel it out in these big like silver Zeppelin looking things and just saw off like and they would say, do you want one rib? Like when you like saw it off. And then they would even give you, if you ask nicely, here's a tip. If you ever go to the House of Prime Rib in San Francisco, a tip is you can request the bone. You can request the bone. Once they slice down and they slice enough off of the bone, because they serve it boneless, then you can actually ask for one of the ribs, and they've set them aside and they're sitting under the heat lamp getting all crispy and kind of like almost dried out a little bit. Delicious. But no, I mean, it's so weird to say nobody eats, what was it, prime rib? Because that, ribeye. He said nobody eats ribeye this thick. I just don't know why anyone would make that point. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I just want to get sort of like an objective opinion from as wide a sample of people as I can, which, you know, isn't going to happen right now, but, you know, maybe in the future some people will watch back and see just me really just wondering how many different dog whistles can you spot in this one video. Okay, so this guy, I think I've stumbled across his reels before, and he just seems like a massive piece of shit. I guess he was like in prison, and now he talks about like what life was like in prison, and I think he does security or something. It's like those segments of like the reality shows where people are like, oh, I was a bank robber, but now I teach people how to increase their security at banks for a living, stuff like that. But I think that's what he does, and the public be the judge. So let's let this clip speak for itself.
There was a guy in prison. So you don't have Google in prison. What you have is Ask a White Guy. So one time I remember we're watching Noah and Ark, and we're all sitting there watching, and this guy,
Noah and Ark,
black guy, and so as he's watching, at some point,
black guy, had to specify that.
On the Ark, the guy reaches into a cage and he like eats one of the creatures. The guy in front of me goes, "How come he say that?" Now,
I want to be clear. I have heard the argument from time to time that sometimes all you really do is just repeat exactly what you heard from a source. But I just want to let that hang. He's gonna do it again, and he's gonna do it more times than just once. So I'll let you be the judge.
Cox, how come he say that? Why he say that? If I mocked him, he might jump up and run up and just start smashing on me.
So I'm going to stop pausing it here, but just in case you're not keeping track, we've run across at least 3 dog whistles, I believe. I'll count them. We'll go back through it, but keep track. I think there's 3 so far.
So you don't say that. What you do is act like it's a normal question. So he goes, "How come he say that, Cox?" There's 25 guys there leaning in. And I said they were only able to bring a male and a female. I realized, like, God, this guy's so stupid. And I looked at him and I said, "That's what happened to the unicorns." And he goes, "Yeah." And he's like, yeah. He's like, I heard that.
So I think if I was to look at this objectively, if I was to look at this from his point of view, I would say I'm just a guy who was in prison, and I'm telling a story about a time that I was in prison. That's, I think, all that would go through my head. Now, I think there's a very large, complicated structure that is set up to enable people with bad intentions to look like this kind of person. It's too complicated to go into in the hour that I'd like to spend doing this, so I'll maybe save that for a longer form video. But what's at play here could be an innocent case of I was in prison, I'm telling my story, or what it could be is, to use the most simplified term that I can to describe this, propaganda. We shall see. But so far, he's specified.
So
that this was a story of him in prison, but when he said that, he wasn't talking about when I was in prison. He said there was this guy in prison. So anyone who's watching this short from the outside could reasonably assume that he wasn't necessarily talking about there was a guy in a prison I was in. Instead, it would just be him telling a story about a guy in prison. They instantly showed a black guy. Let's let that hang.
You don't have Google in prison. What you have is ask a white guy.
If it wasn't apparent that he was bringing race into this, he makes it apparent by trying to kind of flip his intent, apparently. Try to flip his apparent intent. He's trying to say, oh, I'm not talking about like, I'm not saying anything about black guys. I'm saying Google in prison is ask a white guy. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to set up. Google in prison is ask a white guy. Okay, it's not racist. I'm talking about white guys. I'm a white guy. It's all good. It's above board. It's not. That's why it's a dog whistle. I don't want to nitpick on people's genuine mistakes, but he said Noah'd Ark or Noah'nd Ark. Not sure where he got that from, but I'm sure he just misspoke. But he makes a comment later about it could be argued about how a certain group of people are stupid. And so that's why that sticks with me. So now that was edited because you can hear the audio. And I'm assuming that maybe he went on a little too long describing maybe the physical appearance or the social habits of said black guy. And maybe they thought like, okay, no, we'll definitely get a channel strike if we leave this in. Or maybe they had to edit it out for time because he went so far into detail for so long about it. Either way, it doesn't seem like a good sign. I mean, he could have been saying like, this guy sitting in front of me, oh man, he was my best friend. We spent so much time together, he and I. We talked about our plans for when we finally got out, and about our girlfriends and our children and all this stuff. And you know, his favorite restaurant was Red Lobster, and we even talked about getting crab together sometime when we got out. He was my best friend. The black guy. See what I mean? Like there's very few directions that you can take that. You know which direction it's going. I mean, I'm not going to suggest that this is exactly what's happening, but I will kind of allude to the fact that it could be argued that maybe he's indicating that a certain group of people is either uneducated with the Bible, which he feels is like the be all end all, so he feels they're just uneducated, or he feels like that certain group of people is just like godless heathens, godless savages. Because the guy in this is asking from the perspective of why would he do that, and as if he doesn't understand morals, or he doesn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. It's another dog whistle, but I don't know if it's like if it falls under the definition of dog whistle. I think it's just kind of a presuppositional like argument that he's making without anybody saying anything in the first place. I don't know if I'm sure there's a term for that. They were conscientious enough of the toss of the YouTube terms of service to make sure to edit out the word killed, even though they're being blatantly racist in this. So again, I don't think that in any of the stories that you could tell about any occasion that happened, unless it's exclusively necessary to telling the story, you don't need to ever incorporate some affect, especially if there's an entire group of people who could potentially see that as offensive into your story. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to specifically pick that affect of voice unless you are trying to elicit a recognition of some stereotype. Another dog whistle. If we assume that he's trying to imitate the voice of a black man, then he's using what one could argue is his default assumption or perception of the voice of all black men, which to him is something out of A Song of the South. So he's kind of just filling all the check boxes for just kind of blatant racist piece of shit. You see like whatever, just he says it with contempt, and it's obvious on his face, and it sucks. And immediately he associates black people with violence, like immediate violence. The second they hear something they don't like, they spring into violence, which has very clear modern connotations. Like there's a whole lot of stuff out there in the last few years that people have been saying that either support that presumption or try to propagandize with it or use it as a platform to disenfranchise, to increase hate, to there is no propensity to violence for anybody unless there's a motivation to obtain something. Survival imperatives include the capacity for empathy. That's just a thing. Like, I mean, we spent a long time learning that. Anyway, yeah, so other than that, I mean, he just goes about educating this savage on just shit about the Bible, about some Noah story. It's bullshit, and nobody should ever pay attention to people like that, let alone give them a platform. And that just happens to be what I believe, and I'm entitled to that. Gosh darn it. I wasn't gonna react to this one. I didn't want to do like blatant political stuff. I'm not necessarily against it, but I feel like there's a lot of channels out there that do like, oh, you know, the MAGA crowd is doing this, and though I would be among them if I was to do any type of activism, I am not like, though I can tell you about this caption, or I don't know what that's called on the screen. I think it's a caption, I assume. He's not going after the corrupt government. In order to agree with that, or in order to even look at that in a sense where you could accept it, you have to assume that the government is entirely corrupt, and that every branch, and maybe not every branch, at least that all the departments that you've seen the Department of Government Efficiency go after, you'd have to assume blatantly, just without verification, that they're corrupt. And that includes that little island in the Pacific that hasn't done anything wrong. So I don't know. I believe that most politicians are corrupt, and that anyone with aspirations to power has the capacity to be corrupt, and that it's very difficult to get to a position of power without taking advantage of anybody along the way, whether there's some moral implication there or you took advantage of nameless corporations. Either way, I think overall taking advantage of any kind of system is not playing according to the rules. And if you're conservative, then the name itself means that you want to follow the rules set up by, you know, whoever the founders are. In this case, the founding fathers. But that applies globally. There's a number of reasons why the next one is, I would say, objectively evil. And I guess we'll go over it. Okay, stop converting to a liberal. Let's just see how accurate this is, okay? I took the test a couple of days ago. I'm fresh off it. So let's see if any of this resonates with me. All right, update my profile pic. Well, I could not honestly tell you how to update my profile pics for much of the platforms I use. I think I was able to, this old guy with the bird on his head that I use for a lot of things, I was able to take just from my Instagram, and I screenshotted. I don't know if you can use those, like just kind of default as your profile picture, but I was able to screenshot it, I think, and then use that as a profile picture for a lot of my different things. But I don't remember, and I don't know technically really what I did to do that. I think I tapped on something on my phone, and that's about, yeah, I think I tapped on something on my phone. We'll leave it at that. So I don't resonate with that. I have not worn a mask since the national, it wasn't I think when they did the government, the federal worker mandate, I think when they lifted that, I stopped wearing a mask, which is a lot sooner than a lot of people, but I'm much less a conservative or liberal than I am a I don't give a shit. And I know that that's an aberrant position to take, and that that's not conducive to other people's health, and it's something that I'll probably have to work through. But that's just, I think, what I was feeling at the time. I think everyone was a little bit bitter after, you know, the restrictions were lifted, and like all the goddamn, like the MAGA people were in jail for January 6th and all that kind of shit. Like, I think there was like a sigh of relief, and perhaps, you know, people may have gotten swept up in that. But I'm fully vaxxed. I got like all my boosters. I got the current, there was an updated vaccination recently. I got that one. So, but no mask, just trying to be as conscientious as I can with towards other people, while keeping my own comfort intact, which goes back and forth. That's a weird one. I don't know where that came from, the trope that it's only people on the left that dye their hair. What do they think their older people are doing? Like, everyone's dyeing their hair, and I get, you know, oh, well, we're not talking about natural colors. Okay, we're still talking about vanity, and we're still talking about, I mean, whatever the fuck crazy values you're saying are being violated by dyeing your hair crazy colors, or if you're just trying to paint an entire group of people with one hair color. That's so weird. That's the same argument as, like, you know, saying that, you know, men can't become women, because that's not the argument that's being made. Like, they see one meme with someone with blue hair and they're like, oh, that's everybody now. Like, some douchebag alt-right podcaster or something probably said it one time, and now that's just a thing that's stuck. It's so weird. Yeah, what a weird thing. 17th booster. What I would have to argue that I don't understand what the problem is with doing something, even if you don't believe it does anything. You have to believe it does something negative to take a stance against it. Even if you don't believe that it really necessarily does anything, like if you're like, oh, I don't trust that we should be forced to do these. I think the vaccines don't really do anything. There are people who took that stance, and there are people who would argue that's a straw man. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you wouldn't make fun of someone getting multiple boosters for a vaccine if you didn't think it harmed anything. If you thought it was just like whatever, then you'd be like, I mean, why would I care? If they want to do crazy compliant bullshit, then let them do that. I don't have to do it, so I won't. You know, if my job fires me, whatever, they fire me, like, get a different job. But like, that's pretty clear, the intent there. Troll conservatives. I do not recall, as I was going through the pipeline in 2012 to 2014, I do not recall any of those, like, you know, those videos where the people are out on the street and they have microphones and they go to talk to people, like, you know, I went and trolled crybaby liberals at a college campus. You know, they had those a lot of the time in those years. And I think in all of those videos that I had watched, which gave me a level of disgust for those alt-right figures that sent me down the path I went, none of the videos I saw were ever the other way around. It was never. And I would just searched generally. I just searched for like controversial videos, or I searched for, you know, because I was watching, at the time I was watching like All Gas No Breaks, where, you know, I don't watch them anymore because of the rape. But I did watch a lot of those man on the street. I think that's what they're called, man on the street interviews. And none of them were ever liberal, washes themselves in the tears of conservatives or anything like that. My feeling in terms of that is that the people who do those videos are taking the time to go out and get the content. They're taking the time to plan their route, plan where they're going, plan which activity they're going to go to disrupt in whatever way they think they're going to. And then they have to record and bring the stuff home and post it and edit it and all that kind of stuff. I know I'm speaking out of order on a lot of that stuff, but the point is they have to invest a lot of time into what they do. And true leftists, people who actually go out and are activists, they are busy being out and doing things. They're busy making change. And even if sometimes I agree that those changes are stupid, their right to do so is protected under the Constitution. And I think that's the only reason why you don't really see a lot of that stuff, is because they don't get pride from trolling people. The right does. They get pride from going out and being active in their communities and trying to get people on their side. Of course, there are people on either side of the argument on places like YouTube, like the Debate Bros or like the React streams, or, you know, even what I'm doing now. But they wouldn't exist if all those other guys didn't. If it was just a neutral space across the entire internet, nobody would feel the need to counter anybody else's arguments. But because we are, you know, human beings, we love to complain about things, and especially when those things are things that we don't recognize from our objective reality, or things that are hard to adjust to, or things that might resonate with us that we aren't ready to confront. We rally against that, and it's very popular with humanity to go against what we see as weird or different. Like, I imagine first time any group of white people ever saw a person with extra melanin in their skin, like they were probably like, oh, you know, what the hell? I've never seen something like that before. And chances are somewhere along the way, someone reacted violently. And that's human history. Sometimes they thank God for it. Sometimes they damn God for it. Sometimes they, I don't know. Sometimes they get together and form communities over it. Hate on Trump. I mean, again, this is disingenuous. If you are accusing somebody of hating on Trump, then you've got to at least try to understand why in the first place. I think if you're saying, "Oh, you're just insulting, man," like you just don't get it, then I don't think that you're arguing in good faith, because you're not recognizing any of the objectively shitty things the man has done. And he's the president of the United States. Like, I think people come from the angle of like, well, I mean, you wouldn't expect Obama to act like that because, you know, he's a politician. So the fuck is Trump? Like, where do we get to a place of thinking that just because we like a person, it makes them just a regular guy? He's still a fucking, like, at one point he was a millionaire, and I would say that his debt far exceeds his income at this point. But he was at one point a millionaire, maybe a billionaire, but I would say maybe a single billion. But on paper, he's a man of huge success. And if we're not supposed to be idolizing corrupt leadership, then you have to be consistent. All leadership would fall under that category, including a guy that was like, "Hey, I'm just a regular guy." He's still fucking the president. Office twice. Just be consistent. Well, that has like a dark implication. I could pull the plug. You know I could. Wish me across the border one more time, motherfucker. See how I take care of your family member. Now imagine that you're a waiter in a restaurant and you are going up to your the table that you've been assigned, and you're like, "Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Kendra. I'll be here server today, and I just want to take a second to tell you about the specials. Today we've got a delicious porterhouse steak. We have, today we have the delicious." Okay, so obviously no waiter would ever say anything like this. "Waiter, would you like the lean or the marbled Australian steak raw, sir?" Never would be a question. But he's already got his steak, it looks like. So I'm not sure where we are in this timeline here. He has a bite in his mouth already, but it doesn't look like he took a bite. Oh, this is that thing that the motivational YouTubers do, or the motivational, what is it, Instagram reel guys do? They pretend they're eating something because they don't want to get sick, because if they eat raw beef, they know they might get sick. Like, I don't understand. The healthier cow. He's saying the healthier cow is the one that's raw. Healthier, okay, you already have the steak. Is he just recounting his conversation with the waiter? To whom? The cameraman? I burped. Oh my God, lots of fat marbling inside muscle tissue is a sign of diabetes in cows and as humans as well. Is he selling a course? I would bet bottles to buttons. I don't know if that's how that saying goes. I would bet bottles to buttons that I'm sure I've heard that accurately. Bottles to buttons. I don't know why I would just make something up that didn't exist. A waiter would never ask that. I don't know why you're thinking that any human being would say the sentence, "Would you like the lean or the marbled Australian steak raw, sir?" That doesn't even make sense. It's not even grammatically correct. And what is going on with his eye? What's happening with his eye? Something's wrong. The man needs to see an optometrist. Lots of fat marbling inside muscle tissue is a sign of diabetes. In what world? What? Like, I would be extremely surprised if this man could ever tell the difference between intramuscular fat, extramuscular fat, covering fat, a fat cap, feathering fat. I don't understand. Why do we think that intramuscular fat is a sign of diabetes? Let's maybe type that into Google. Is intramuscular fat a sign of diabetes? Like Wilfred Brimley does. Yes, excess intramuscular fat, also known as fat within the skeletal muscle, is known sign and potential contributor to type 2 diabetes and other metabolic health issues. While a certain amount of intramuscular fat is normal and serves as an energy store, excessive accumulation can lead to insulin resistance, a hallmark of type 2 diabetes. However, let's also acknowledge that there's like 1,000 different causes of diabetes or signs of diabetes. You can point to any one as being the sign or a sign of diabetes, but it takes a combo of things, including lifestyle and diet. And I don't think that there's a doctor that would agree that a raw steak diet is in any way better. Well, we don't know what his argument here is. I don't know what his argument here is. perhaps he's trying to make the argument that you shouldn't eat. No, because that doesn't make sense. It seems like the argument he's making is that if you eat fat marbling from a presumably to him diabetic cow, that you'll get diabetes. Or what is he saying? He's saying I'll have the healthier cow. Healthy animals don't necessarily translate to healthy people, and sick animals don't necessarily translate to sick people. There are sick animals who are removed from the herd during the time that they're raising the cows in order to keep the other cows healthy, to make sure they don't get sick. At that time, they would probably put them on antibiotics. So arguably, if you're assuming that a cow inherits, or a person inherits the powers or soul or health of the cow once they've eaten it, that the one that's spiked with antibiotics, who is still sick, would maybe be the more healthy alternative than the cow that has less intramuscular fat and is otherwise just plainly healthy. That's just a weird. I'm guessing he's selling a course. That is my guess. Where is it? So I would normally assume that if he's replying to people with like, oh, I've sent a message, then he's like selling a course. But it doesn't. I don't know. Again, it's just a really weird stance to take. It doesn't make any sense, and he's not correct. Ow! I've seen so many posts like this. I think it's propaganda. I think either people are just kind of jumping on this sort of bandwagon, or it's just straight up propaganda. Propaganda. I didn't pronounce that with the R. Propaganda. 20% of women are childless by 44. Is that taking into account women whose children have left the home? What's 44 minus 18? 36? And wait, yeah, I think I'm right. I don't know why I'm pulling out a calculator to do a simple subtraction, but that's where my stone brain is right now. 44 minus 18. 26. So even if you had your kid at 26, which is a very normal age, then of course they'd be out of the house by the time you're 44. So what a disingenuous statistic. If you're saying that 20% of women are childless by 44, maybe she doesn't mean childless. Maybe she means like, or maybe I'm thinking that her version of childless is assuming that once your kid's out of the house, you don't necessarily have a child anymore. Like I would have an adult member of the family. It'd still be my kid, my child or whatever, but I would probably just, I don't know if I would say that I'm with child if my kid has left the house. I guess that's some semantics. 33% of millennials and 16% of Gen Z own a pet. Is that possibly because childcare has become more prohibitively expensive than owning a pet, perhaps? Let's be real, moms, and not leave our assets to Rocco. Well, no owner outlasts their pet unless you're a parrot or a turtle, a tortoise. I don't get it. There's just no reason to make this argument. I think that people have the potential to be both pet owners and moms. Don't get it. There's just no reason to make it. Remember when Trump won in 2016 and everyone on the left cried, and then we proceeded to have the best 4 years in over 2 decades? Well, if I look at the reality, because I have learned stuff about how the government works, I can recognize that the 4 years initially that Trump was in the office, the first time, the first term, were good for the man on the street, were good for people's wallets. But the only reason that is because it was set up that way by the Obama administration. The argument that this person is trying to make is that because Trump won, the preceding 4 years were the best in 2 decades because of his policies. It was actually his policies that led us into one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression. And it was his policies that led to his bungling of the pandemic that claimed the lives of, as far as I'm remembering at last count, 1.8 million people, arguably a large proportion of which could have been avoided had he handled the situation better. So, I mean, his success now was entirely dependent on Biden setting things up for him in the previous 4 years. If you know nothing about how the government works, you are absolutely forgiven for thinking that how things work is immediate. It's not. It takes from my last memory, when I was like growing up, you know, during the Bush years, it took 8 years for things to happen, for policies to go through, and for politicians to rotate out and things like that. I think it's less time now, but it takes time for those policies to go into effect. What was the lowest that gas was in the height of the pandemic? I believe it was something like $2. It was like 2 something. And how could anyone take a look at conspiracy theories like Bigfoot and aliens? Because there's a big overlap between these conspiracy groups. I'd bring them out of nowhere just because it's just something that I love watching, because there's a big overlap. The overlap between conspiracy groups and conservatives or the religious, there's a lot of overlap there. And if you are the kind of person that buys into conspiracy theories like Bigfoot, aliens, you know, Skinwalker Ranch, things like that, then why wouldn't you also be very, very concerned about the very real seeming conspiracies that are happening within your own government? And I'm not talking about the ones like Pizzagate. Like, that's been disproven time and time and time again. I think they even dismantled the building at this point, or it's being used for like something else, like a daycare or some shit. Whatever. The point is, it's tired. It's ridiculous. And I think that you should probably shift your focus to like the $3.8 billion deal between Kushner and the Saudis. That really seemed like a quid pro quo. The claims of blackmail to find dirt on Joe Biden that then evolved into a plot to use his son's laptop to dethrone the Biden crime family. I wish that we were consistent. I wish that people could like look at the situation that we live in and go like, I understand that things are screwed up. I understand that there are people on both sides that do not have our best interests in mind. And I think that what we need to do is we need to section ourselves off as just people and figure out a way to make the government work for us and the values that we hold dear, and then come up with the common values instead of like how the right tends to pretend that they have these values, like calling the left, the people on the left who claim to be Christians, they're false Christians, or they're demons, or they're like baby killers. Like anyone who votes for liberal policies can't be a real Christian. I've heard that so many times. So a lot of bad faith going around. There's a lot of like manipulation. Oh, she is outside. I have a feeling that she's probably eating a bunch of sticks out there. I hear something. I hear something that sounds like a dog chewing a thing they're not supposed to be chewing. I know I trailed off on that last argument. I'll be right back. And she was outside eating sticks again. Can't blame her. You know, I'm sure that the sticks are very delicious. I'm sure that she's, you know, I might eat a bunch of sticks if I was a dog. Dualist. I guess Hawkeye? Scarlet Witch or Hawkeye? Who can I kill reliably? Who can I kill 6 hero? Or Hawkeye. He's a little ghost dog. Hello. Ow.
Becoming an Avenger was the best thing I've ever done.
Hello?
You've got one job. Take the enemies as you can.
We got company.
Stop killing me. It was Scarlet Witch is probably the move. It's a warm-up round, you know. No, Bluetooth, don't go out. No. My Bluetooth. Why is it always when I'm in the middle of something? No. Stay away. Not so good against Shang-Chi, Iron Fist. I say them both because I'm never sure which one in particular that one is. I always forget. Come on, it shouldn't be this hard. Oh my god. I'm not hitting shots like, you know, as because she's got that it like attaches to me. I gotta be better. Help. Okay, you can't just like run in here like a bat out of hell. It's crazy. You're crazy. Is that Thing's ultimate? Pretty cool. It's collaborating time. Okay, can we not, please? That's unkind to to double up on me like that. I mean, I guess I could have played as a different hero. Or I could still change. I'm sure that you can.
The other team needs to eliminate 5 more.
Making the cut. I'm in good shape. Nowhere to hide.
Oh, come on. I am getting farmed by Iron Fist. I think it's iron.
Let's try this again.
The other team needs to
I think
eliminate
I
one
always
players.
think that it is Shang-Chi, so I think it's... Get away from me!
We got company.
Get away from me! Get away!
Nowhere to hide.
Get away! Get away! I'm definitely not getting the picks. I'm glad that I'm not playing on a team right now, because I would be extremely disappointed in myself.
The other team needs to eliminate.
I don't think that counts for me. Ooh, shutdown. Are you alive again, or is this a different magic? I don't know that I will have killed 6. And I don't know if assists count.
The other team needs to eliminate one more.
Where's everybody? I'm ready. Oh no! Okay, that's fine. We'll try again. Iron Fist. See, it's Iron Fist, guys. It's Iron Fist. I determined it. Why? See, why so many? Unfair. So far down on the roster that I didn't even get onto the big up board. All right, well, let's... Who is that? Ronnie? I guess I'll put the Doom match on a back burner until I can actually hit my shots. Let's do a quick match for now. I wonder if I at least hit the damage total for that other challenge. I should have checked,
You'll need a top-notch
but I did
team
not.
to win this one.
All right, let's go with still a duelist. I regretted not picking Scarlet Witch last, but I am not very good with her, so we shall see. I keep saying that I'm not very good with many different... Oh, you want Human Torch? I can do that.
Brightest in the sky.
Human Torch!
Side and let a real hero show you how it's done.
Bye, guys. No!
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Whee! Aw, you can only fly so high.
Did you bring your squirrely little...
Hey, don't be... Hey!
You met me?
I think she was getting into something she shouldn't be getting into.
I don't speak squirrel.
What are you doing? Crazy? Crazy little beast? You crazy little beast?
The battle starts in 5,
Crazy.
4, 3.
I was gonna pick you up. You didn't want me to. I can't play with you. I'm sorry.
Reality is
Crazy beast. If you have dogs, you know how precious it is.
Coming.
Get flamed.
This was Khonshu's.
I,
Come on, you friends. You're halfway there. Keep going. Anyone willing to help?
I think people are willing to be convinced that Human Torch didn't exist until they are killed the first time, but why am I'm shooting like so far over.
Enemies on approach.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Doesn't matter.
Don't step on lava.
Oh, come on, I didn't attach any of those
Reach
together.
the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
See, this is what I was talking about. It's hard to talk, walk, talk, and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Don't step on lava.
Come on, there we go. Don't step on lava. Is that Emma? I don't want to necessarily be focusing on Emma.
Don't step on lava.
What am I?
That school lady has like a shotgun shotgun scatter shot fire dealy. I know that all of that made sense, all right? Don't ever talk to me or my child. That's a meme. That's a meme. I know what memes are. Oh, Cap.
Moving again.
Us again. Us again. All right, get it moving.
Halfway there. Keep going.
Let's cook some more.
I stay in the back. I do not get... Sorry if I'm like clearing my throat in the mic. I know that's rude. Do not mean to be doing.
Here comes trouble.
Don't hit me with that.
Don't step on lava. Supernova.
Cap, I can take you down with... No.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Let's cook some more.
No kills. No kills me's. No kills me's. Damn, Cap. Like, stay out of here. Did they change that? Was that ever like a splash attack? The shotgun thing that seems to be the norm? Oh no, I die. Goodbye.
Okay, how about we try this again?
Cute little shark ass motherfucker. Is that happy birthday? I was trying to figure out what the song was.
Don't step on lava.
See, I like the idea that... Hello again. I like the idea that other heroes don't tend to really like look what's underneath their feet, which Stand and Fire is one of the oldest things that has gotten people into trouble in video games, so I'm glad that it's like a mechanic that one can use. Oh god!
Get that vehicle moving again.
Can use in the case of this game, etc.
That felt nice. Now I have to feed her squirrels.
Die!
Let's cook some more.
That Emma is good at not dying. That is certainly a thing. And I think some of these fire patches might be hidden, or might kind of like... No, I don't think I've played as Johnny Storm enough to really know what's going on with him. I think I kind of messed that up. I could have used that as a thing. Like you damage with that.
Dodge this.
Die, shark! Oh, I hope it...
Assemble!
Yeah, assemble. Do it. All of you get into one spot.
My friends are here.
What are you doing? It always freaks me out when my dogs do that because it makes me feel like there's like a thing, like a critter underneath my chair or something.
Clearly, you needed some
A critter! There's a critter underneath my chair. Yeah, don't come past that really well-placed fire line.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Don't do it, because you will get burned if you do. Oh yeah, I'm so glad that those other ones lasted long enough. That's really what I meant to have happen. Yeah, don't be standing in no corner. Oh no, the rest of my team is dead. Oh, where? I heard that. Why are you coming after me? No, no. Does this guy have just like a vendetta against me? Like what? Does he think that this is productive for his team? I mean, I'm willing to entertain it. Is that Spider-Man? Is that Spider-Man? I can't really see that well. My eyesight just sucks. No, that's Cap. No, that's Black Panther. Yeah, guide your spear. Have him guide your spear. Fast, guide my spear. What if he had been mistaken and said sphere? Oh.
Fire mode.
Tremble.
Only 60 seconds.
Take that, Cap. Die, shark.
Anything standing your way.
I got the phlegm.
Can't handle the heat?
Then get out of the kitchen. Or wait, we're outside. We're not in a kitchen, but get out of the kitchen. Get out of the
Dr. Richards,
outside of the doors. Get out of the outdoors kitchen.
this is your big
Now, you guys forgot that I actually had a third skill, didn't ya? Well, so did I. I'm not gonna use my ultimate, but okay. That is cloak and dagger, right? Oh, I'm trapped.
fighting until we have a winner.
That wasn't gonna go where that was.
Another epic victory.
We won because I did that. I don't think that I really did anything. We won because I did that. How'd we do? Not bad damage wise, but oh, not bad kills wise. Did good. You guys all good? Where's the weirdo? Oh, she's probably outside again. And I didn't get MVP or anything. Come on, Marvel. Match found. That's one thing that I never really found with Overwatch. They
Right heroes could make
didn't
all
really
the
seem like I was able to find matches consistently. I don't know if that's just like a programming thing or if that's like, I don't know. What is happening? They're all weirdos. Let's see, we got DPS.
Science solves
No, I
problem.
don't. Oh,
I never wanted to be Iron Man. Guess we better save
Iron
the
Man.
world again.
I don't. I'm not very good at Iron Man, but we shall see. What we can do. What's the team up though?
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
I hope he doesn't need anything from me for this particular team up,
With you, perhaps.
because I don't.
Give them a chance to know the truth, and they will see the error of their ways.
Guys.
If you knew who I have become, Father. The battle starts in 5,
Pew!
4, 3, 2, 1.
Those guys are about to shoot at us.
We succeed this day.
Why is he eulogizing? That was I think Magneto was just like telling stories or some shit. Like more power to him, you know. That's he's spending this time that he can. He's on the earth to be vulnerable, and gotta give him some credit for that. Look out below! Zap! Oh, I saw that. I saw him coming a mile away. Zap! Zap! Zap him! That I do not have the best sensitivity right. Mouse. Yay. Come on, we're so desperate to have friends. Now she just cannot stand having a new system. Some bullshit. No, don't attack me. I'm not worth it. No, I'm not worth it. Don't fuck with each other. What on earth? Is that Wolverine?
Operational again.
I've got Spider on standby.
Did I go the wrong way? Oh no. Suck rays.
Oh, you thought you got rid of me. Think again. Max.
That's 3.
I bet they were like, why use that on me? Just little old me. Because I didn't see anyone else grouped up.
Powering up.
Zap! Get zapped.
You stopped them in their tracks.
I don't want to kneel. My name is Neil! Come on, Squirrel Girl. We've done this
I am
dance.
ready to put on a show.
Powering up. Anyone say
I don't think that there's like an amount of damage that would overcome all of her like just bullshit. I mean, not bullshit. It's, you know, it's what it's supposed to be. Like, you know, it's supposed to be a counter. Why did I do that? I left the battle. I was doing just fine. Spider-Mans.
Takes a spider to beat one.
I'm really curious as to what my dog is doing outside right now. She can't be up to any good. She's got to be doing something sneaky or nefarious, messing with rocks or bones or something. She's been known to do it. Oh, come on, chase you, please.
30 seconds.
That's the thing. My you know, my reactions aren't as good as they used to be. I'm old.
Us against the world.
Well, that definitely did not damage him as much as I wanted it. Spider-Man! Pictures of Spider-Man.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
I think actually probably that my sensitivity is too high.
Another epic victory.
Okay, now two of the dogs have disappeared from view. One of them heard what I was saying. You crazy. All these dogs. So crazy. So crazy. Ow. Ow. Hey, not cool. What are you sitting for? Thinks that like I'm offering this little one up as like a sacrifice. Yeah, she did. Dog behavior, you know? How did we do? How did we do, huh? I don't play as Iron Man very often, but I found that one to be a little bit more enjoyable. Oh, baby! Triple! Don't bug each other. Just be normal. Just be like regular. What's up? Almost there. Duelist. I think I've been playing as duelists. I think we're on track. Weird dogs. Weird dogs. Weird dogs indeed. House of Jalia.
You'll need
Not
a
sure how to pronounce that.
team to win this
I
one.
will not try again. We're still in the duelist category. I guess Punisher. I haven't played as Punisher in a while. I'm not really good with the melee heroes. Is the Thing a tank? Yeah, he's a tank. So yeah.
Not a
Okay.
hero. I'm the Punisher.
I'm not a hero. I'm the Punisher. I like the idea of the Thunderbolts 2025. Though I don't know. The jury's out. The jury's done out on whether or not Marvel Thunderbolts is going to be good for the MC to the U.
No more. I'd like to see.
But we'll see. It's coming out, I guess, in a few days, right?
You did?
You might be surprised where.
Not necessarily sitting on my hip bones anymore. So move the camera down. Vocal fry, I think.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Ow,
We need
yeah,
to
that
do
hurt
is
my back.
capture the mission area. Got it?
Gotta remember shift changes weapons. Owie. Oh no. Went backwards. Poof.
Out of sight. Render me assistance.
That one hurt.
Heavy weapons. I'm
I was wondering why I couldn't.
You're quite welcome.
La 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 la. I'm a turret man. Did you say you'll need to make me? Okay, that was not a good idea. That was an ill-conceived plan because I didn't have a good line of sight. I mean, just yourself? That doesn't seem very smart.
I like the cold.
Smoke screen. Looks like bullets break your magic.
Yep.
Need some ranged firepower.
Bullets break magic. Aw, damn it. Did I waste this again? Damn it.
That's destination.
It's fine.
Smoke screen.
I wish you had the option of not flying backwards when you do that.
Get in there.
But I don't imagine that there would have been any other alternative to that. Again!
Triumphed. As always, my friends.
Owie!
Bogeys incoming.
Keep going.
Doctor Strange!
Watch me disappear.
Too bad.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
No! Guys, bother each other. Yeah.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
She wants to be a family member. And the existing pups, they've gotten into their groove. They're not really into entertaining none of that shit.
I
That
never
was
miss.
okay.
A nice deep freeze.
Oh, I bungled that. Oh, I bungled that real bad. Yep. And then I didn't even think to use my smoke bomb.
No worries.
I was just trying to create an avenue and did not really think about the fact that it was going to launch me forward too. So
Get that beat.
switched to my shotgun too slow, and it did not endear me to the situation.
Battlefield ready again.
Okay. Admit
That's
it.
what this is for. Hit scan, hit scan, hit scan, get hit scanned.
Heavy weapons.
I think I can probably just use my. Nope. Let's not do that. Let's not. Can we not? No. Oh my gosh. That. Damn it. That was my bad. I definitely activated that at the wrong time. I thought I was. He came up behind me though. I guess maybe it might be a little understandable that I kind of fucked up a little bit. No, please don't. I know. No Spider-Man. Spider-Man, he designed for the backline. He does a good backline job. I guess I can't complain about that. I can just lead, I guess, with my shotgun this time. What are you guys doing? How how do I use this again? No.
I still need you. You'll know I never wanted to hurt. Your transgressions have redeemed this.
Oh God! Don't get away from me. Keep forgetting to like make sure that I'm checking all of the angles for Spidey.
This place out.
Watch me soar!
Heavy weapons. I'm in love.
I don't know if that was a good idea.
That one hurts.
What? What do you want? My dog is just trying to get my attention. What do you want? What's going on? Man, where you at? I'm like, no! Man, he's been so mean to me. Stay away. No! Again!
Get that vehicle moving again!
I think all this jumping is helping me. I'm doing a very good job of jumping around. No! It didn't save me against Spidey, but it saved me against Bucky, so that's good. At least I know that strategy works to some extent. I'm definitely not gonna get top kills this round. That is a pipe dream. I don't think we're gonna win. Probably. I guess I could try to flank. I'm not so good at flanking because I'm not sneaky. I'm not sneaky.
Judge, jury, executioner.
Get Frank castled.
I should be singing lullabies.
Get Frank castled.
Turn around, quick. That one hurts. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Never miss.
I guess that ult wasn't too bad. Could have been better, but I need to actually get the picks instead of just trying to damage things. I need to get the picks that will actually result in the kills. That is why I am here. I'm just telling myself, trying to develop my mantra, you know.
Watch me soar!
Just don't come in. Like, just don't like go in there. No, Spider-Man, please. He seriously waited for me to be done.
Extended my deployment.
Spider-Man, he's good. He's good. He's certainly traumatized me.
I should be singing lullabies. That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way. Only 60 seconds left.
Kill me, Spider-Man, please. Wait, that's right. You stay away.
Let's go.
Spider-Man. Yeah, we got him. I'm just gonna keep covering that corner. Make sure they know that I'm here and willing to protect my friends. What is that? My favorite kind?
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
No, Spider-Man. I mean, I guess I could just try to be better at escaping with the zip line, but I shouldn't have to, damn it. I should have better aim. I try to turn you down a little bit. It's, yeah, I guess it's a little.
What do I do for an encore?
Need some ranged firepower.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Oh God, it saved me
Them all.
almost embarrassing further loss to Spider-Man. So I feel a little more grateful that the round ended. 15 kills, not bad. Could have done better. I have done better as Frank Castle before, so a little bit of an ego hit there. It's all good. Yeah, damage was way low. Accuracy 14%. Oh my gosh, I am just not doing it right now.